Welcome back to the Beyond Woman Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Jacqueline Johnson, founder of The Beyond Woman. And today's episode is personal, necessary, and long overdue. We're talking about what resilience looks like after 45, not the version that's all grind and go, but the one that demands grace, grit, and deep internal growth. Maybe you've been feeling off, overwhelmed, or like the things that used to come easy now feel heavy. This episode is for the woman who has been holding it all together but quietly wondering, why can't I do this like I used to? We're going to unpack what's really going on beneath that question and, more importantly, how to shift from just surviving to living on purpose. This isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more aligned with who you truly are in this season. Let's talk about it. Today's episode is sponsored by 𝙅𝙘𝙘𝙦𝙪𝙚𝙚 Cosmetics. Unleash your power with fire. I've worn it, and let me tell you, this bold red means business. The fire lipstick from 𝙅𝙘𝙘𝙦𝙚 Cosmetics is not just a shade, it's a statement. It's a long-wear formula that truly lasts. No smudge, no fade, no compromise. Confidence in one swipe. Perfect for elegant women who want their beauty to speak before they do. This lipstick stays put through coffee, conversations, and even kisses. Trust me, I've tested it all day long, and it never let me down. Ready to ignite your look? Shop fire now at www.sarahvaughan.com, because bold isn't just a color, it's who you are. Hey, Beyond Woman community. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Guess what? I'm in the hot seat today, and this is not the usual podcast format that you're used to, right? With the questions and answers, but gear up for something that is going to be more of a real heart-to-heart conversation. This not here with a guest, not here with a list of questions, just talking. And it is simply driven by the fact that a while ago, I had a conversation with an last guest on the Beyond Woman Conversations podcast, which was Reese Carter. And she said that women over 45, that we're not as resilient as we think we are. And that really made me pause. Wow. And when I think about it, it wasn't judgment. It was just the truth, but it hit hard. Because if I must be honest with you, I've been feeling it. That scattered feeling, forgetful, struggling to finish things that I care about, and silently wondering, am I slipping? But even in that moment, I never thought to think that I'm failing, or that we're failing rather. And I think that we probably are going through something that we do not have a name for as yet. And that's what we're talking about today, not perimenopause. We're talking about the struggles that you and I have on a daily basis just to get the things done. It is about you and it's about me. It's about the challenge that we face as we push towards our dreams, or we start new ventures, or we juggle multiple roles and just trying to hold it all together. And this episode, it's not a call out, but it's definitely a call in. And I want to unpack this moment, not just for myself, but for every single woman who is wondering, am I the only one feeling off? And spoiler alert, guess what? You're not. Another reason that had me press record on this episode in particular was because recently I was talking to another phenomenal woman. She's in her 50s. And she began sharing all the brilliant ideas that she had, ideas that could genuinely change lives. But then she paused and admitted, I haven't started a single one. And what is the reason for that? It's because it's just too many ideas, so many that she didn't know where to begin. And ladies, let me tell you, that struck a nerve, because I've heard the same thing over and over. from women I admire, women who are smart and capable, women who are experienced but stuck. And that's when it hit me that this isn't something that is random, you know? It's a pattern. And it's, once again, it's not about that woman alone. It's about me and it's about you. And it's something that we need to unpack. So today, we are talking about the truth about resilience after 45. And I want to coin it grace, grit, and growing pains. And you know, I love statistics. I love to use statistics to support every podcast topic that we are discussing. And so when I dug into the science of it all, this is what I found. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Women and Aging found that women between ages 45 to 60 experience a significant increase in ideation and creativity. Imagine that. And it's driven in part by hormonal shifts, by life transitions, and the psychological drive for legacy. But here's the catch. This surge in creativity is often accompanied by decision paralysis, mental fatigue, and decreased working memory, which does make execution of our ideas incredibly difficult. Dr. Louann Brizendine, hope I'm pronouncing her name properly. She's a neuropsychiatrist and author of The Female Brain, explains that during midlife, the female brain undergoes a rewiring where our desire to contribute meaningfully intensifies, but our ability to multitask at higher capacity starts to taper. In other words, as women in this midlife, we're not short on vision, but what we are is overwhelmed by possibility. So then, maybe it's time to redefine what resilience looks like in this season. So today we're exploring what this means for us as ambitious, purpose-driven women in midlife. Is this surge in our ideas our body's way of telling us something? Can we reframe this chaos as a calling? And more importantly, how do we shift from overwhelmed to on purpose again? So let's talk about why having too many ideas is actually a form of internal burnout, the neuroscience behind scattered thinking and low execution, the emotional toll of questioning our intelligence and worth, and most importantly, how can we give ourselves grace and move through it with clarity? So the first thing we want to talk about is the fact that too many ideas is equal to mental burnout. So let's start there. And we'll start by saying that too many ideas is not a blessing if you're drowning in them. And I want to repeat for emphasis, too many ideas is not a blessing if you're drowning in them. What I've seen and lived is a kind of idea overload that leads to mental burnout. That's my experience. Not physical exhaustion, but the exhaustion of constantly being on mentally. It's like your brain has 72 tabs open and not one single one of them is loading properly. You can't focus. You can't decide. You start to question yourself. Have you been there? And then after a while, it creates chaos, right? Because our brain is overflowing with ideas, because it's running all 72 of these tabs for all the things that we could do, but none of them are getting cleared. And because execution isn't happening, we begin to doubt ourselves. And what I've learned is this. Idea overwhelm is a trauma response. It's a trauma response for women who have spent decades being everything to everyone. And finally stepping into me time comes with a rush of vision, but no roadmap. And it's not that we're lazy or unproductive. It is just that our mind is in creative chaos, and without strategy, that chaos becomes a breeding ground for shame. So listen, and listen clear. You're not lazy. You're not procrastinating. I know we love to use that word. You're simply overloaded and undersupported. And this leads me to the creative chaos trap. Because when we reach our 40s and 50s, especially after years of pouring into others, something shifts. Like we give ourselves permission to dream again. And so all that floods into our being, into our psyche, is the ideas, the visions, passions we've buried, businesses we have wanted to build, stories we have wanted to tell, courses we have wanted to teach, products we have wanted to launch, the book that we need to write, starting the podcast, just to do something that feels like us again. And here's the big thing. We should. But without the structure or support, all of that creativity turns into noise. And that's not a personality flaw. That's a symptom of brilliance with no filter. Let me say that again. The fact that we are having a flood of all of these things is not a personality flaw. It is a symptom of brilliance, but without filter. And it's especially common now because we have outgrown busy work. We want our lives to have meaning. We're tired of doing things just to tick a box. And we're feeling the pressure of time that is going against us. So in actuality, everything feels important now, but nothing is getting done. And that's when the negative self-talk kicks in. Why can't I finish anything? I used to be so sharp. Everyone else is making moves. What's wrong with me? You know, that comparison game that we like to play. And boom, now you're stuck in a shame spiral, not because you're doing something wrong, again, I might say, but because you don't have a strategy for this phase of your life. So let's strategize. Here's what will actually help. Let me walk you through a few things that have helped me shift from chaos to clarity. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the brain dump. We need to get it all out of our head. Every idea, every task, every this, every that, every what if. Put it on paper. Voice note it if you need to, but just unload it. And when you do, this creates emotional relief and clears mental space. Because your brain isn't a storage room. It's a processing center, and right now it is jammed. The next thing you're going to do is filter. Group your ideas, whether it's business, personal, passion project, whatever category that you choose. Then ask, which of these fits my life right now? Be honest, because this is not the season to do everything. The third thing is that we're going to pick one. We're going to choose one core idea to run with for the next 90 days. And to make it easier on us, we're going to break it down weekly steps, one move at a time. Because finishing one thing builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum, and momentum brings clarity. The fourth thing that we're going to do is practice grace. So important. So important. So when the inner critic creeps in, say this: I am not behind. I'm building something new, and I deserve to build it well. And this will shift you from disorganized to directed, from overwhelmed to empowered, from shame-ridden to self-led. Because when a brilliant woman has too many tabs open in her mind, she doesn't need more hustle. She needs a home for her ideas, a filter, and permission to go slow. Let that be your new default. But we want to go even deeper because sometimes there is a biological reason why we are feeling this shift. And this shift is occurring in our brain. And this is real talk now. So here's the science. Dr. Luann Brizendine, again, in her groundbreaking work, The Upgrade, explains that in midlife, your brain starts to prioritize meaning over multitasking. And that's huge for all of us. So the juggle it all, keep it all in your head version of you, sis, guess what? She needs to retire. And believe that's okay. Hormonal shifts also mess with memory and focus. So if you're forgetting words or struggling to stay on task, it's not that you're losing it. It's that your brain is literally rewiring. We've been taught to push through, but now It's time to slow down and work smarter. So how do we get focused again? Let's be real. Your focus didn't disappear. It just got buried under stress. It got buried under change in hormones. It got buried under emotions that you haven't dealt with and just having too much on your plate. So in this moment, this isn't about being more productive. It's about getting grounded again. So here's what has to happen. And you might find that there's a little bit of repetition, but understand, take it as reinforcement rather. So you're focusing on one single thing at a single time over multitasking. Multitasking is no longer your superpower here. It used to feel like a skill, right? You used to feel like Superwoman because you were able to do so many things at once. But now all that it does is that it leaves you feeling tired and scattered. And your brain works better when it can focus deeply. Notice the word deeply on one thing. Your brain works better with one clear task. So pick one thing per hour, block the distractions, and finish it. Then move on. Remember, one thing at a time. Then you're going to break it down. Small micro plans work best. So we said that big ideas are great, right? But they can get overwhelming and get overwhelming fast. But trying to do everything at once will make you feel overwhelmed also. So understand that small wins keep you moving. So break them down into 15-minute wins. Make a call, draft a page, write a paragraph, sketch a plan, whatever it looks like for you, just do it in 15-minute windows. Start with a reset, and that has to do with anchoring your day. Before your day starts spinning, take 5 minutes to breathe, pray, journal, whatever it is that grounds you. The goal is to start centered, not scrambled. Set your brain up for focus. It will help you through the day. Then we're going to watch our language. Don't shame yourself. Acknowledge that you're changing. When you catch yourself thinking, I'm off, reframe it and say, my brain is adjusting. This is a new phase that I'm learning, and I'm learning it well. Your words shape your mindset, so be kind to yourself. Because again, what we're experiencing now, the shift that we're experiencing, is change. It's not failure. We want to talk about the emotional side of it all that no one talks about. When you're in the middle of a conversation, I know I'm not the only one here, and suddenly you forget what you were saying. Or you made that to-do list with real intention, but it's still sitting there untouched. What about the business idea that felt so exciting at the onset, but it never moved past the planning phase? Then the self-doubt kicks in again. Am I slipping? Was I ever really that sharp? Was I ever really capable? Let's be clear again. You're not losing your edge. You're building a new one. Midlife doesn't mean your best days are behind you. What it is that your nervous system is tired of the constant grind. And your soul wants meaning. It's screaming for meaning, not more achievements. And your brain is doing exactly what it is supposed to do in this season. But here is where it will get tricky. If you don't recognize the shift that is happening within you, you'll blame yourself for it. So instead of asking, why can't I do this anymore? Ask yourself, what do I need to honor and support the version of me I'm becoming? What pace actually works for where I am now, and what structure supports the woman I'm becoming? Because maybe the reason you can't do this anymore is that you were never meant to keep operating the way you used to. And that's not weakness, that's growth. And my sisters, that's where grace lives. So what now? Here's what actually moves the needle. We've already talked about why things feel off. Now let's talk about what actually helps. Because clarity doesn't come from overthinking, it comes from doing things differently. And here are some small but powerful shifts that can help you feel more in control and connected again. Once again, it might sound like repetition, but take it as reinforcement. So we're picking the one idea and we're sticking with it. You don't need to chase every great idea at once. Choose one, focus on it, finish it. You're not giving up on the others, mind you. You're just giving one idea the attention it deserves. Remember that completion builds confidence, and then confidence will build momentum to keep going, and the momentum brings clarity. Finish more, juggle less. Don't keep it all in your head. Your brain isn't a storage closet. Stop trying to remember everything. Write down things, record voice notes, make an idea list on your phone, on your laptop, wherever. When your ideas have somewhere to go, you definitely will stop feeling scattered. So give your thoughts a home and make it outside of your head. Set time for the creative thinking. Don't wait for the perfect time to think and plan because it rarely shows up. Block off 30 minutes a week to brainstorm, journal, or think through your ideas with zero pressure. You'll clear your mental fog and remind yourself that your creativity still matters. Schedule creative time like any other important meeting. Watch how you talk to yourself. That quiet voice in your head, believe me, it matters. When you catch yourself saying things like, why am I like this? Or I used to be better. Just stop and reframe. Instead say, my brain is adjusting. This is a new phase and I'm figuring it out. Slow progress is still progress. Talk to yourself like someone you care about. And last but not least, listen, don't do it alone. This stage of our lives isn't something that we should go through quietly, in a hushed way, not to bring attention to ourselves, hoping that it will pass. Remember, no man is an island, and especially no woman is an island. Talk to someone. Join a community or create your own. Be around people who get it. Because when you share what you're going through, then the pressure lifts. The shame loses its grip and healing starts. Now is the time for community. Stay connected because you heal better in community. So I didn't record this podcast episode to give you another hype up. That's not what it's all about. Because let's be honest, you already know you're a strong, powerful, capable woman. You've proven that for years. But here's what strength looks like right now in this moment. It looks like slowing down purposefully and intentionally. It looks like choosing what actually matters instead of trying to do it all. It looks like speaking to yourself with kindness, especially when things feel messy. Resilience, that beautiful word, that powerful and strong word. Resilience in this season looks a bit different for us. And it's not about proving anything to anyone. It's about listening to what you really need and honoring that and leaning into what actually matters. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters and let go of the rest. So if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling behind or not quite like yourself, know this, that you're not broken, that you're in transition, that you're not lost. You're just becoming a wiser woman. Because women over 45, we deserve more than visibility. We deserve to feel powerful, grounded, and fully ourselves again. And that brings us to the end of another powerful episode of the Beyond Woman podcast. I hope you're leaving feeling inspired and ready to take action on your dreams. Remember, you are capable of so much more than you think. Keep pushing those boundaries, keep learning, and keep believing in your limitless potential. We want to stay connected with you, so be sure to follow us on social media at the Beyond Woman magazine for daily inspiration, behind the scenes content, and to join our growing community of empowered women. Don't forget to visit our website at www.thebeyondwomanmag.com and www.TheBeyondWoman.com, where you'll find even more resources and articles and also opportunities to connect. Sign up for our newsletter and be the first to know about upcoming events and exclusive content. To all my incredible Caribbean sisters out there, let's lift each other up. Share this episode with the women in your life who need to hear this message so we can continue to build this powerful network together. Enjoy this episode? Then think about leaving us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support helps us to reach more women. Thank you for being a part of the Beyond Woman movement. Keep shining, keep growing, and keep living your most extraordinary life.